Hi, I'm Ginger and this is Ride with Ginger, my new MotoVlog. I am a new rider. I have been riding for less than a month and I wanted to create this YouTube channel to capture the memory and the journey. So I hope y'all follow along with me. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is my first ride, not practicing, but actual ride. So that's what we're going to be watching, and I'm just going to be talking over because as a new motorcyclist, I am not going to be talking to you while I'm riding for a little bit until I get more practice and I feel more comfortable. But I still want to be showing footage of my rides and all that kind of jazz. So today I wanted to talk about why. Why a motorcycle? So I've always liked motorcycles, even in high school, but my parents made it very, very clear to me that wasn't going to happen. So I kind of pushed it to the back of my mind and went on with life, and then of course life happened and it just never was the right time, or never had the money, or was never living in a spot that was conducive to it. And then recently my husband Ken, moved to Texas. And, you know, after living here for a little bit, you start realizing, wow, I haven't driven the freeways in forever. And there's so many country roads and back roads. And I started thinking about it a little bit more. And then one of my coworkers, she got a scooter. And as soon as she did, I was like, oh my gosh, a scooter. I want that. And so I started thinking about it. I mentioned it to Ken, and he's like, yeah, do it. And so I started doing research because that's what I do. I have to research everything, Google everything, YouTube everything, make spreadsheets, and just make sure that that's what I wanted to do. After reviewing and going, okay, yeah, I think I want a scooter. And we even went to a couple shops, saw some, sat on them, and I was like, okay, well, the next step is an MSF course. Now for a scooter, if you get a 50cc, then technically you don't need a license, but I knew I at least wanted a 150 because my concern was safety, and I wanted to make sure that if I needed to get out of the way, I could get out of the way. So I decided that I wanted to take the MSF course before I did anything, made any decisions, bought anything. I wanted to take the course to make sure that that's what I wanted to do. So when I was talking to Ken, he was like, well, I'll take it with you. Ken actually has a motorcycle, but because of life, he never got his license, and he didn't really get that much drive time. And so he was like, well, let's do it together. I looked online, and I did want to make sure that wherever I took the class, I was taking it on a scooter. And so there was two close to me. One had a wait list out like 3 months, and then the other one was like a month out. And the first one they had available was on our anniversary. And I was like, anniversary present? And he's like, yeah. So for our anniversary, we went and took the MSF course. It was a 2-day course, and I did it on a ruckus. It was fun, and I definitely know that that's what I wanted. But at the end of the 2 days, I felt like I wasn't going to be satisfied with the scooter. That I didn't feel as safe because I was just sitting there and the handlebars kept hitting my knees and I kept having to like shift. But because you're not having anything between your two legs, it's a little awkward. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do a motorcycle. So I was concerned with the shifting, not because I don't know how, but because I wanted to focus on riding defensively, on learning how to take turns and curves and everything. And I didn't want to be distracted with shifting. And so I did look into some automatics, super expensive. And, you know, Ken kept telling me, he was like, well, you drove a manual car for most of your driving life. You'll be able to do this. It's the same thing. By the way, it is the same thing. It's different. And in your brain, you're like, well, everything's in a different spot, and is it going to be the same? It's I was in the car the other day. My truck is automatic, and I went to shift. It's crazy how quick your body's like, oh, I'm supposed to be shifting now, and how much it gets back into the groove of things. Anyway, so I decided on the Rebel. I, again, did a bunch of research, looked at this, looked at that. I really liked the look of the Rebel. I liked simple, but it was a cruiser style. I liked the pop of color it had, and so we started looking for used because we were not about to buy new. We found some online. We were like, okay, and then Ken happened to go into the motorcycle store near us, and they had one. It was a 2021. It had 900 miles on it. He calls me up and says, hey, they have your motorcycle. I was like, what? And so on my lunch break, drove over there, looked at it, and I was like, sold. Let's do it. So I ran out of time to sign all the papers, so I had to go back to work. And then after work, I went back and finished signing the papers, and then Ken rode it home. And then I spent every day after work just practicing. The first day, I was just like, I'm just going to practice the friction zone. That's all I'm going to do. It was kind of like what I did when I was first learning the car. My dad just had me go, friction zone? Okay, you found it, stop. He called it the sweet zone, though. So I did that on the motorcycle, just kept going. And then the next day I was like, okay, well, let me actually get it to go into first gear and ride and then stop, and then ride and then stop, and then second gear, and so on and so on. And then I was always kind of thinking about my ride to work. What obstacles am I going to have, you know? And one was a hill. And it's like, it's very likely that I'm going to get stopped on this hill. So I was like, okay. Luckily, one of the nearby neighborhoods is all hills. So I rode over there, and I got on a hill and just practiced clutching and fronting the friction zone, figuring out, am I going to use my front brakes? Am I going to use my rear brakes? How am I going to do this? Am I going to have my feet on the ground? And just practicing. And then the same thing was, one of the obstacles is kind of a fast to get onto the street. So I have to make sure that I can pick up speed rather quickly. And so I just did circles and circles around my house, just getting on that ramp and going off, getting on that ramp and getting off, and as fast as I could. It has been an incredible journey. I'm definitely still learning. I am riding to work, not every day. I live in Texas, and it's over 100 degrees, and it is super hot. So I'm taking it easy, trying not to rush it, trying to take my time. But, oh my gosh, I will be at work just thinking about when I can be done so that I can go ride my motorcycle. It is so freeing, so liberating. It's just an incredible feeling. I love it. I'm super excited, and I can't wait for more of this journey. Now, Ken is waiting on his motorcycles in two parts. One is he's rebuilding the Harley, so that takes time. But then he does have his eye out on one motorcycle that unfortunately they aren't able to sell in Texas yet. They're waiting on the licensing. So he has a deposit down, and we're just waiting for that to happen. And then we can go riding together, which we're both looking forward to. It'd be nice to do those Sunday rides and just explore our town and city and just have some fun. So I am one of those people that I like to name things. And as soon as I got the Rebel, my brain immediately went to Star Wars, Rebel Alliance. And so I started researching and watching movies and trying to come up with, okay, well, who's in the Rebel Alliance and what name do I want to give them, and going back and forth and going back and forth. And honestly, I just didn't find one that kind of clicked, that made me go, oh yeah, that's it. And one day I was sitting there and a name popped into my head, and I was like, oh, that's the name of my motorcycle. It has nothing to do with Star Wars, which I'm a little sad about, but I'll get over it. But the name of my motorcycle is Towanda. I felt like it completely embraces my feeling right now, and as my first motorcycle, I'm just super excited. So Towanda and I are going to enjoy this next stretch of adventure and just ride as much as we can, learn as much as we can. I have luckily plenty of roads around here. We do have a Harley Davidson who has a safety course, so it's on when they're closed. I like to go over there and kind of practice some of the MSF training and do turns and quick stops, and just all about practicing. And I do plan on taking another course, and as always, if y'all see anything that I'm doing or have suggestions for my ride, especially when it concerns safety, please, please, please let me know. I want to get better. I want to improve. And I'm looking forward to this journey. Well, that's about it for today. I do plan on posting a vlog every week, so hit subscribe and continue to watch my journey and see what exciting adventures I can get myself into.